Stoner comedies are a genre of film which often have a very, very low standard of filmmaking. Sometimes they'll put a lot of effort in and end up finding mainstream appeal with films like Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle or Friday. And then sometimes they'll just aim for the bare minimum and you'll end up with films like Half-Baked and How High. And then there's films that'll go even below that, and that's what we're on today.
Ho 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 ho, delightfully devilish, Seymour.
Yes, everybody, welcome back to Delightfully Devilish, the show where we discuss films that all at once meet the criteria of being the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm your host, Jukebox Harry, and today we're going to be looking at a direct-to-DVD stoner film. Not even a stoner comedy, according to Wikipedia. I didn't know there was such a thing. Mac and Devin Go to High School is a 2012 film which shares the title with the album of the same name by Snoop Dogg and Khalifa. That album actually came out in 2011, and the huge success of Young, Wild and Free inspired Snoop Dogg to make a film based on that song. He announced it in March 2012, and the film came out in July 2012. Now, for a film to get pumped out with that kind of quick turnaround rate, it cannot really have a very high standard of quality. Mac and Devin Go to High School kicks off with a poorly CGI'd joint talking to the audience.
My name is Slow Burn, and I am your movie guide. We will be watching Mac and Devin Go to High School, starring Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa.
If you're thinking that's some of the worst CGI you've ever seen, don't worry, I'm thinking it too. Yeah, the animators put so little effort into Slow Burn's mouth movements, even less than animators of anime put into their characters' mouth movements.
Before we get started with the picture, I would like to make sure everyone is comfortable and properly prepared. How you gonna watch a motherfucking weed movie without no motherfucking weed? Get your papers, your bones, your bowls, your blunts, some fat ass nugs of that good, and spark that shit up!
To be fair, he is 100% correct. It is impossible for me to see anyone enjoying this film, even ironically, unless they have smoked a decent amount of weed. And I've watched this film high myself before, but keep in mind, I've been to California where weed is legal.
If you're unfortunate right now and don't have any weed, I'm sorry. But please, stop this movie right now. It just won't work. You can't watch this shit without no weed. Stop.
Yeah, it's really a shame that I have to review this film clear of mind. It's an even bigger shame that weed is still illegal in Australia. Like, fucking hell, ScoMo, get something right for once.
For all of you that like to play those movie weed games, like smoke every time so-and-so character says this or does that, here's the official weed game for this movie. Take a hit every time you see a character on screen either walking, talking, or breathing.
Anti-drug activists must really hate this movie, but clearly the filmmakers want you to be high so that you're comfortable with boredom when watching this film. It's an interesting tactic to substitute actual good quality filmmaking, just ensure your audience is so fucking blazed that they barely care. Directed by Dylan Brown, a man without a Wikipedia page. I went to IMDb to look this guy up, and the first Dylan Brown that came up actually turned out to be an ex-animator for Pixar. And immediately I knew this couldn't be the same director, because if you've worked for Pixar and then you've released a movie that has a character like Slow Burn in it with that animation standard, then, well, actually, maybe that's the reason he used to work for Pixar. Or maybe it's the fact that he acted inappropriately to others. That's why he got fired from directing Wonder Park. This Dylan Brown has no other feature directorial credits to his name, mostly just a series of video shorts for Snoop Dogg.
Hey Mac, man, what's up, man? Where the weed at, man? Hey Mac, let me get some weed, bro. Can I get some weed, man?
The filmmakers haven't even established who Mac is just yet. We've just got a bunch of randoms talking at the screen, asking where the weed's at. Yeah, this is one of many scenes where you'll see them just trying to string things out.
But they just don't go harder than us. Keep stunting.
Stop shaking! Why are you shaking?
Mr. Mac?
Fuck it. Everybody to the library. Got a new batch, some blue blueberries.
Today, Junior?
Never mind. Thank you for your time.
Part of me wonders if all these people talking to the camera asking where the weed's at, if this was the audition process for certain actors. Because they're all terrible, and this guy in particular is really fucking annoying. And it's also kind of more insulting that this exact scene happens at the 4:20 mark in a stoner film.
Terrible. Take a lap.
The intro has a prolonged series of stylized credits which don't conclude until 5 minutes into the film. And that leaves only 70 minutes left for the actual narrative and credits to play out. I'm getting real Master of Disguise vibes from the making of this movie, and I don't mean that in a good way. One of the characters is also named Assistant Principal Skinflute.
Was that a sex joke?
I'm old school. That means I don't play that shit.
Whatever, man.
Turn around.
Mike Epps is the most successful actor they could actually get for this film. Mike Epps, of course, is the guy who replaced Chris Tucker in the Friday sequels. which was one of the worst casting decisions I've honestly ever seen in a movie. I fucking hated his character in those films. So, I don't know, I feel like it kind of makes sense that they put him in a film this low grade. The first thing that actually happens in Mac and Devin Go to High School is Snoop Dogg's character Mac sneaking into the principal's office to smoke the biggest blunt with a girl who clearly hasn't been in high school in quite a long time.
Skinny dick. You wanna hit?
That's it. That's literally the entire gag right there. You know, it's one thing to display a clear lack of understanding on how to make an actual film, which has been made explicitly clear in what little running time we've had so far, but to not understand how a joke is structured and then executed...
Hook me up, Mac. I know you got it.
I am prepared to pay you in chainmail, a quiver of arrows, 3 broadswords, and 2 oxen.
I got a couple fat bitches and 1 midget in the car. You can fuck anyone you want, you know what I'm saying? Just let me just hold that ounce or 2 to, you know, just Friday.
It seems like every time Mac and Devin Go to High School runs out of what few ideas it actually does have, they just throw something at audiences to distract them. Like these guys talking to the camera about wanting to buy weed. I wish they would stop coming back. They're not adding anything.
These crazy kids give me a migraine. Think you could hook me up with a joint to relieve the pain?
Call that higher learning.
High school. It's the best of times.
It was the blurst of times, you stupid monkey!
Hey, how's the speech coming, Devin?
Great. I'm almost done with it, but it'll be good.
Well, it better be. You want to stay together after graduation, right?
Of course I do, Ashley.
Then you need to go to Yale. And to go to Yale, you need a scholarship.
The creators behind this screenplay had to have watched a modicum of high school movies and took the bare minimum plot points down so they could half-ass it into this film.
Just think how amazing it'll be when we're engaged and we have matching diplomas on the wall. It'll be so fabulous, I won't be able to stand it.
It comes as no surprise the writers on this film don't have Wikipedia pages either.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah, it's a poorly animated joint people threw in there as a transition because nobody could be bothered shooting actual scenes for that instead.
It's the controlling bitch alert. Attention, gentlemen. Please ask the ladies to give us a brief moment. We will only be a second, bitches. Thank you.
I can't imagine anybody wanting to watch this film with their partner, you know, stoner or not, or whatever culture. So I guess that line is just meant to be a joke. I'm not laughing. Haven't laughed yet.
If you a nigga like that and you got a bitch like that, get the fuck out now! Either get them in line or kick them to the motherfucking curb.
Yeah, sure was nice to step away from the plot for some casual misogyny.
Know what this is I'm filling out?
What, an order for some medium-sized condoms?
This is some of the worst framing I've ever seen. Both these shots are so wide that each character is way smaller than they should be.
These are your expulsion papers.
Expulsion for what?
Well, let's see. Breaking and entering. Possession of a narcotic?
Narcotic.
And now they're just talking directly to the camera, which is a very lazy technique. Take note, people, do not hire Louis Perez as your director of photography.
Your 15-year tenure at this school is over.
And if we have to pretend like we can accept this, then they should at least make it funny. But they don't. The premise is literally just Snoop Dogg is in high school because there's nothing done with that. Mac manages to avoid getting expelled because of a sexual relationship he has with the principal, the stripper from the Adam Sandler film, That's My Boy. That is another critically panned comedy from the same year about a male student having an inappropriate relationship with a female staff member. 2012 was the year for statutory rape in film. And yes, they're both legally adults, but as he is a student, her abusing a position of power makes it institutional rape. Look it up. How the fuck did he like that? Like, is the joke meant to be that he lit up a chemistry beaker like a bong? Or is the joke that that's not physically possible and that he just did it? In either situation, I'm still not laughing.
Jones and Greenberg, and Overstreet and Johnson.
What? With all due respect, this parent could jeopardize my entire future.
If you're starring in a film of this grade, I would say your future is probably set in stone.
Mac! Hey, Mac! Mac! Mac!
Another acceptable title for this film would have been Mac and Me, and it's ironic because that was another derivative and very unfunny movie. But this one's slightly more original and slightly more funny.
It's down to 2. 2 geniuses, banging brains. Only one can stand and come.
Oh! Gay, so gay.
Because come graduation day, when I, and not thee, assume the position of valedictorian, that will suck for you.
Oh, really?
You get an A-, and your ass is mine.
Dirk, nightclub, throbbing music.
What do you want with my ass, Mahatma?
Men's room stall.
My brain's gonna do all types of things to your ass come graduation day.
Penis! 2 penises! Oh, this is gay. It's so gay.
You can't smoke in here, young man.
Hey, don't worry about it, baby. I got a medical condition.
What condition is that?
I got an addiction. I'm addicted to Granny Punani.
Really?
Grand motherfucker, he's a grand motherfucker. He likes to fuck the grandmas.
A male student banging female school staff who also just happens to be a rapper who is not against banging grandmas. Again, this is the premise of That's My Boy.
Vanilla Ice banged grandma? That's fucking awesome!
It should not be possible that any film in the world has this many similarities to the movie That's My Boy. And yet here we are.
Dang it. Give me my candy, motherfucker.
You have to put money in the machine first. That's how it works.
Explain how. Money can be exchanged for goods and services.
I got just what you need.
A quick lesson on weed edibles.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
A, have you ever eaten weed edibles? And B, did those edibles make you feel like 2 cartoon mermaids was using their sexy little tail to play ping pong with your brain? That's what I thought.
While Mac and Devin are tripping out, the film takes a sidestep from pretending to have a story to give us a half-baked music video for the song Talent Show. But this isn't like one of the music videos from Rocky IV or Cobra designed to advance the plot or pretend to. It literally pauses the narrative for 3.5 minutes. When I say the people who made this film don't know jack about making a film, this is exactly what I mean. There is such a thing as narrative flow, and it's more important than just fulfilling a feature-length runtime.
So what'll it be?
It'll be the usual. Let me get 2 Scooby snacks with special sauce on.
A few inches later.
Thank you, baby.
Here you go, 2 Scooby snacks.
Is he gonna pay for those? Do people not exchange money for goods and services in the Mac and Devin verse?
How the fuck did we get here?
We flew, nigga.
Alright, I chuckled at that one. It got me off guard.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your friendly neighborhood weed plant, Captain Kush.
How many marijuana mascots are we gonna get in this film?
We will be discussing 2 different strains of marijuana. That's right, cannabis indica and cannabis sativa.
It was difficult to watch this scene and not think of Chevy Chase wearing a similar costume in Community.
Smells like something died in here.
The next few minutes are shots of Mac and Devin getting high, intercut with quasi-educational segments narrated by Captain Kush, as well as another speech from Slow Burn, and then a music video dream sequence with Miss Huck acting all sexy. The entire scene takes more than 5 straight minutes and doesn't move things anywhere. Then we're back at school the next day, starting with more clips of mediocre actors asking Mac to sell them weed.
Jag har hört att du är killen med kontakterna. Jag är ny på skolan och behöver inte weed.
Is that like a Swedish fish? Is it some kind of gummy cummy?
I'm Michael Jordan. Stop it. Get some help.
Do you realize that you are a 15-year senior? Dumb as a box of rocks.
Everyone realizes that, Mike Epps. It's not fucking subtle.
It's that thing that killed John Wayne. You see that thing right there?
Come on with it, man. Don't let the wrong person get this in their hand, okay, man?
I love just how little effort the props department put into designing that binder. It looks terrible. Over the course of a little montage using phony mathematics and lots of shots of people getting high, we get Devin proposing an alternative energy source.
X equals the square root of C cubed minus 2x. Then the catalytic ingredient should yield a brand new energy source. You have no idea what I'm talking about, dude.
Yeah, I don't think even you have an idea. Then we get a bunch of people smoking weed and blowing poor CGI smoke, including this white kid who stays true to his cultural roots by blowing smoke that shoots up the place. I'm kind of bummed that didn't happen in the school because that would have been more realistic, but still, I appreciate the fact that this film looks at white culture accurately.
Wait, hold up. No! For real? No!
She tooted and booted.
Then for some reason, we're getting high in the dentist's office.
Fucking bitch.
Is that the bitch paging you again?
That's the bitch again, man.
Oh, bitch, bitch, bitch.
Hello. Yeah, bitch. Where's my money, bitch? No, bitch. Hi, bitch. Bye, bitch. And in case you didn't get it, let me text it to you, bitch.
Uncle Leo?
After breaking up with his girlfriend, Devin goes out with Mac for some culturally stereotypical prostitution.
Tom, I just give you white girls. USDA approved, no MSG.
Just when you thought racism couldn't get any more racism.
After another sexualized music video-esque scene, Mac and Devin get busted by the cops, but they manage to avoid being victims of police brutality and just get thrown in prison. Unless, of course, the filmmakers just turned off the camera when that happens. I know the police do that a lot.
So which one of y'all get the fucking ass first?
If you don't mind, we'll start thinking up our prison rape jokes immediately.
Yo, D, man, you need to chill out, man. Calm down.
Cut him some slack, Mac. The guy's in prison. Devin makes bail, Mac makes bail, goes home, gets high, and ashes into Devin's experiment, discovering that the secret ingredient to energy is weed. 'Cause of course it is.
Hallelujah! It's come to my attention that one of your students might have gotten his hands on a copy of your test.
No.
Simply solve this little equation and you graduate.
Why?
Someone in the IMDb trivia section did the equation and pointed out that the correct answer is 1, not Y. So, logically, he shouldn't actually graduate from high school. Someone in that trivia section also listed that Martin Scorsese was originally attached to direct this film and then dropped out. I'm so fucking happy someone put that there.
Now give me my diploma, bitch.
Can you believe it? Mac is finally gonna graduate after 15 years in high school.
I can't, but you can, so that's fine.
Our heroes graduate and Devin steps up to give his valedictorian speech.
So what, we get drunk. So what, we smoke weed.
He's quoting the Bible.
We're just having fun. We don't care who sees.
Word for word.
Everyone breaks into song and dance.
We have a safe way to relax, expand, grow our minds, and all from a beautiful, wonderful smelling plant that grows on this earth. Look at how it connected Mac and Devin. If it made two people as different as that become homies, shit. Nigga, we could do any motherfucking thing.
Okay, I gotta give it to Slowbet on that one. I have made some good mates in my travels, just from blazing it up with them. It's a good bonding experience.
And speaking of Mac and Devin, ain't no telling what they gonna get into next. And I, for one, sure can't wait to find out.
Yeah, now it's been 10 years and we don't have a sequel. But we kinda do, because the premise of this is basically How High, but in high school. So How High, in a sense, is kind of a spiritual sequel. But let's not make that claim, because How High is actually a good movie.
Break it down, roll it up, light it up, and smoke weed, motherfucker!
That's the smartest thing I've ever heard anyone say about anything.
Yeah! Fire!
Then they did the end like American graffiti. Well, you found out what happened to everyone.
After the music video finishes and Mac and Devin Go to High School concludes its narrative at the 65-minute point, then we get 10 straight minutes of credit cookies. The Master of Disguise did the same thing to push its feature-length runtime, but to its credit, at least that film had some kind of narrative. You definitely can't say that about this film. But is Mac and Devin Go to High School a good film?
Wrong.
I did the math on this film. Mac and Devin Go to High School's total runtime is 75 minutes. When you strip away the 3 minutes and 20 seconds of opening credits and 10 minutes of closing credits, Captain Cush's educational segments, the 2 music videos, and 8 minutes of Slow Burn's rambling, that leaves a paltry 44 minutes and 58 seconds of runtime.
Quick maths.
And considering how much of that is occupied with shots of characters just getting high or getting tattooed, randoms offering to buy marijuana, or other music video-esque sequences, that leaves a handful of scenes that I can't be stuffed doing the math over. For cinephiles obsessed with the language of cinema, Mac and Devin Go to High School is absolutely your worst nightmare. It is an assault on everything you understand about the medium. The film is devoid of any real plot. It copies the stoner comedy premise of How High by revolving around 2 stoners going through an educational institution while high as fuck the entire time, and the threadbare plot is tied together by scenes that do little to no plot building. But in How High, at least those scenes were in fact comedy sketches from actors who honestly wanted to make an audience laugh. See, that movie was so dumb that it was hilarious at times, whereas with Mac and Devin Go to High School, this movie barely even tries to be a comedy. Sometimes there are jokes in this movie, or what the filmmakers think are jokes. Sometimes there are empty plot points, but most of the time it's just characters smoking weed or talking about how good weed is, as well as a lot of casual misogyny. The film beats audiences over the head with a message about how much Snoop Dogg loves weed. And I get it, this shit is good. It's well overdue to be legalized. It has medical benefits. Legalizing it would reduce crime rates and would put a lot more money into the economy. Seriously, I fucking get it, Snoop Dogg. We do need to legalize this shit. But You can't have legalization of marijuana being the entire message behind a film. You need a story as well. You need a consistent flow of jokes. See, Half-Baked and How High may be lazy-ish stoner comedies, but at least they have a plot, at least they have characters, and they have a consistent flow of jokes. This film just has a lot of distractions thrown at the screen. With stoner comedies, typically you've got to be high to fully appreciate this film, but it's not usually essential. With this one, it most definitely is. Marijuana should not be illegal, but it should be illegal to watch this film if you're not high. On top of the lack of narrative, Mac and Devin Go to High School has some of the most poorly framed shots I've ever seen. I'm always critical of films where the camera is just plonked there and never positioned with any sense of what language a shot should convey. We are talking the technical competence of a Neil Breen movie here. No technique or sense of style. And of course, you can't forget the animation of Slow Burn. The low-grade animation makes him kind of funny in an ironic way, but you can't look at those mouth movements and pretend like the studio gave a shit about the animation budget. And the acting is the furthest thing from inspired. Granted, Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa do a fine job playing themselves in a movie bereft of direction or script, but that's about it. Realistically, Mac and Devin Go to High School is a film that was just made to promote the album released by Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa that would then go on to become the soundtrack to the movie. Granted, there are some moments that may inspire you a little bit because you might get into the music, and granted, I really do enjoy the soundtrack. But everything is so lazily and clumsily assembled and consistently devoid of an understanding behind comedy that you're just not likely to feel much from this film. Mac and Devin Go to High School is a film with just no ambition whatsoever. So it's difficult to even compare it to films considered the worst comedy movies of all time. On the Wikipedia list of worst films of all time, you'll see Master of Disguise and Cat in the Hat, two films which attempted to be a certain kind of comedy, but got so misguided and tonally inconsistent that they ended up being funny for reasons that the creators realistically did not intend. You'll see movies like That's My Boy and Freddy Got Fingered, movies that aimed intentionally to disgust audiences with bad taste and succeeded to the point of getting very critically panned, while also finding appreciation with a niche crowd who found the disgust to be hilarious, like myself. You'll also see films like Leonard Part 6 and Howard the Duck, films that never successfully justified why what they were trying to do was funny and just failed. The most accurate one I can compare it to is, believe it or not, Mac and Me. Mac and Me is a complete dud of a film. It is so busy copying the plot of E.T. and jamming in product placement that it doesn't actually try and be funny. It just assumes that it is. Mac and Devin Go to High School is like that. It just presents presumably funny situations to the audience and thinks that's enough without displaying the conviction of what qualifies as actual humor. But in comparison, I enjoyed Mac and Devin Go to High School a whole lot more than I enjoyed Mac and Me. Because, sure, Mac and Devin Go to High School didn't really succeed in doing anything other than promoting the soundtrack, but it also didn't pretend to have any ambition. Neither films understand comedy, but at least Mac and Devin Go to High School does understand stoner culture. This is a film that you can put on in the background and don't have to think too much about when you're high as shit and sessioning with a mate and just want to enjoy some music or have some background noise on. Mac and Me, on the other hand, is a film I would not want to watch on any substance. As a final note, Mac and Devin Go to High School actually caused trouble with the authorities because they got a permit to shoot this film at a California high school, and that permit was revoked when it was discovered that people both involved in the film and not involved with the film were smoking weed on high school grounds, as well as stealing from the fucking classrooms and driving cars down the fucking school steps and vandalizing the place on top of all that. So they caused a lot of shit. Honestly, if you commissioned a Snoop Dogg stoner movie to be shot in a high school, you probably shouldn't be surprised that that happens. Mac and Devin Go to High School gets 3 slow burns out of 10. This movie barely qualifies as a film because it is assembled with such an inept lack of filmmaking knowledge or understanding of how to write jokes. But that being said, the soundtrack is pretty killer, and if you're high as shit watching this, it does make for good background noise. And that does it for today's episode of Delightfully Devilish, you guys. If there are any movies you want to see me discuss in this show, please leave them in the comment section below. If you want to see more episodes of this show, please hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, till next time, I have been your host, Jukebox Harry. Peace.
Break it down, roll it up, light it up, and smoke weed, motherfucker! Yeah!